So I had this idea to go around to different places and do drive-through coffees, because that's what we're stuck with some of the time. And just thought, I was always impressed with McDonald's when they came out in, I don't know, 10 years ago, 2010, 2009, something like that. They redid their coffee line. And it was surprisingly good. Weak, but good tastes. So, thought I would do it again. I often get a comment from people who know I'm a coffee geek and tasting specialty coffees all the time. They say, oh, it must be really hard to go to Waffle House or IHOP or McDonald's and get coffee there. And actually it isn't, and it's really good calibrator to remind you of what the blended things taste like that most people are getting when they go out somewhere. So let's go through the line and see what happens. Number 1, medium coffee.
Any cream and sugar on the side?
No.
All right, $5.69.
How you doing?
Good. Thank you. I stopped driving and I took the top off the coffee so I can let it cool off, because McDonald's coffee is famously hot and it needs to cool off before I can taste it. So, due to editing, you will not see me munching and crunching on all the food. So I think I got somebody else's sandwich, and I think they got mine. But, on to the coffee. Here's the main event. Wow. The smell makes you think it's going to be deep and rich and dark. And they call it premium roast. A description without any technical content. Okay, it's roasted. But it's a really good smell. Very promising. Oh wow, still pretty hot. And the tastes are deep and dark and rich. They match up, they're good. But they're thin. It's weakly brewed. I think I'll wait a little bit longer. Okay, it's cooled off a little bit more, and I will try tasting again. Still smells pretty dark and rich. And the notes I'm getting are dark and rich, but they're weak and thin also. It's brewed too weakly. They need more coffee in their maker. So I assume it's automatic drip with pre-weighed portions of everything. And this lets them control costs, but they're also controlling the flavor at a pretty low level. Good flavor, but weak. So that's what I always end up saying about McDonald's. Very consistent, good, but weak. So let's move on to the next one. Now this coffee, oh, they have a story here. Okay, so it's large and it's hot, and I'm going to take the lid off and let that sucker cool down. Smells promising. So darkness, a richness, a robustness. So we'll skip a bit while I eat some of the food. But back to the coffee. Wow, it's got a lot of words on the side. And I'm not going to turn it over to read it. It's about being hot liquid. Maybe that's worth a look on the camera. They put all this text on sideways. Some people might end up dumping it over to read it. So again, I'm getting really good aroma. It's not real strong. It's not super robust or projecting up my nostrils or anything, but it smells good. But when you taste it, it's a bit weaker. It's not different than the nose, but it's more weakly brewed than you'd expect from the nose. So there might be some advantage in that. If you can project a good aroma into your nostrils while you're drinking it, you might think it's stronger than it really is. So while taste is important in these things, maybe aroma is more important. When people are driving and doing other things, they're not scrutinizing their coffee. They just want some food on the road, or a quick lunch or before work or something. So I'm probably analyzing it a little bit more than it's worth, but it's good, high quality, no defects in the coffee itself. Yeah, a little on the weak side. Let's come back after it cools down a bit. A little bit more waiting as it cools down. Now I'll see if it's any different. All over my mouth. It's roasty, very slight dark roast notes, very slight earthiness, very slight cocoa. Don't know if I'm getting fruity anything. No, it's hard to pick apart, and I'm sure they wouldn't use much. I'm sure it's a blend of various things that they can get reliably and economically. There's more and more specialty stuff available all the time. It's easy for them to work it in. And I'd say good cup. I wouldn't spit it out if I was having to eat at a Wendy's. So it's not quite the equal of McDonald's on the nose or the palate, but nothing wrong with it either. So thumbs up for Wendy's. Next. Well, their service certainly is good. People outside, attendants galore. Everything's done right because they handle it first. They review it first.
Thanks,
Hi.
sir. What's your name on the order?
Doug.
Doug? 1 second, please.
Doug.
Thank you.
Gotta watch for that.
Oh, they put it on a tray so they don't have to touch it. You grab it. Okay, the top is off of the coffee. There's the Chick-fil-A coffee. Smells like coffee, like fast food coffee. Down to the weak side, but I can get some coffee notes that are darker. That will take a while to cool off. Okay, Chick-fil-A coffee. Ooh, there's a sweetness and a fruitiness. This tastes like South American all over the place. There's a touch of earthiness and cocoa in the blend, and it's way down at the bottom and a little muted and hidden. But the thing that pops out on my palate is fruitiness and sweetness. So it's got way more character than I was expecting. It is a tad weaker than I would make at home, but it's not nearly as weak as McDonald's and Wendy's. So this one's exciting now that I've been tasting more and more types of coffee in a row, serially, and this is pretty impressive. They've got a good blend here that's got things that other fast food places don't seem to have, at least the ones I've tried. And you can tell I'm not trying a lot. So, wow, this is a big thumbs up. A lot of vague fruitiness, some sweetness, a little bit of earthiness in cocoa. That's what I'd say. So, all for it. That's great.
One classic, one bold.
Yes.
Welcome to Krispy Kreme. This one's the bowl.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Your card.
Thank you. I always drive away without something. Okay, so this is their classic. Nice red cup. All the green and white branding stuff. Okay, that seems good. The classic is not indicated anywhere on here. Might be the thing most people get. And then the bold they wrote on the sleeve. Ooh, it seems hotter or fuller. Oh wow, hot, hot, hot. Yeah, I'm liberating these to let the heat out. Oh yeah, definitely darker smell. And this one seems hotter, fresher, made at a higher temperature, or it's been kept hotter. So we will know shortly. So I've waited a few minutes for the bold Krispy Kreme coffee to cool off. And now I'm gonna taste both of them, starting with the classic, which was already cool enough. I did a little smelling and a little sip before. So on the nose, it smells a little fruity, like dried fruits, raisins, dates, plums, figs, prunes. Looking for something coffee-like. I guess it's sort of a coffee smell, but blind I wouldn't guess that. I'd guess those dark fruits. Oh, it's cooled off quite a bit. Ooh, it's an ambiguous, plummy thing, like I said in Central America a lot, and maybe Mexico. It's a vague fruitiness on the palate. It's a blend that would tend to make it vaguer than it'd normally be. So I was tasting a bunch of single origins and still had vague plummy notes. It's that kind of fruitiness. And down below, slightly earthy, slightly cocoa. It's very mellow. It's hard to tell the roast level. Medium or so, I would guess. There's not a lot of sweetness to go along with the fruitiness. So good coffee. You know, just pull up to some place and get a big, decent sized cup like this for $2. It's pretty good. Say quite a bit more character than McDonald's or Wendy's. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Compared to that standard, this has a lot of flavor. And it doesn't wander over very far into the dark roast corner. Now, the dark roast, which they call bold, they call it bold right there, is hotter, so I've had to wait for it to cool off some. And on the nose, you definitely, right off the bat, get a darker roast, earthy, more burnt, more roasted, dark, burnt things. It's not bad. It's not burnt in a bad way. And same thing on the palate. It's definitely darker. Earthy, cocoa. Not much up above. Not a sweetness. Maybe a hint of caramely brown sugar stuff. But you wouldn't say sweet, just tasting it. Well, definitely bolder, way, and definitely way more than McDonald's or Wendy's could even think about. So, Krispy Kreme's pretty solid coffee. And I don't think the donuts affected my sense of taste. I'm going to be fully caffeinated today, I can tell. So, just a reminder to like the video down below, leave a comment or question, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell to get notified when the new videos come out, usually on Mondays.
Sugar?
Just black.
Okay, medium hot coffee black, 25 chocolate munchkin. Anything else?
That's all.
All right, come to window, please. What are you looking for?
Thank you, honey. Have a good day.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, honey. Have a good day. That's such a Louisiana thing. Very hot. Smells good. Well, too hot to drink, so I will wait. Let's see what I can figure out about Dunkin Donuts coffee at the real place, and not from Sam's or Walmart. It smells, there's a tartness to the nose. Interesting. Almost smells like acidity. Oh, a little on the thin side or weak side. It's probably too hot. I should wait some more. I just don't want my camera battery to run down. Oh. Oh wow, I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get it. There's something in the middle that's caramely, creamy, vanilla. No, it's more caramely and creamy. It's the whole middle is full of this taste that I don't usually get in coffee. And I did get it in the grocery store bags for years and years. So it's just now getting unhidden from the from cooling down. It was hidden when it was too hot. This is a good flavor, not as coffee-like as some other ones, but this is the character that makes it unique. And I can see how that could be really appealing. But man, I don't know what to call it. It's not a graininess or a cerealness. It's not sweet necessarily, but I'm associating the flavors with caramel or brown sugar. There's a creaminess. There's a whole set of adjectives that don't really have anything to do with coffee for the most part. But the pretty distinct notes are in there, but it's a mixture. So I kind of taste what I tasted when I brewed it from whole beans, and I kind of taste what makes it unique and popular as a coffee brand. Okay. So there, I don't know what to call it, but I'm sort of a fan. It's probably not for everybody, but I do see what the fuss is about, and they do go out of their way to make a special blend for this. They've been importing their own stuff and blending for years. But I think I'm done tasting, and the cap's going back on. So Dunkin Donuts gets a thumbs up, but it's not a typical coffee, so be warned.
What can I get started for you?
I'd like to get a tall dark roast
Anything else?
and a tall blonde.
I'm sorry? Oh, it's all blonde.
Yeah, that's all.
All right, you can pull around for me. 426. Thank you. out for you.
Okay. Okay, I think they're just discussing the availability of the blonde. I don't think they keep it much. I don't think many people are getting hot coffee. And the blonde is not favored. Maybe they don't keep it around much. Maybe they had to make some new.
Alright, here's your dark roast and the blonde's coming. We're brewing it fresh for you.
Okay. So I've gummed up the whole works here by ordering coffee. People are honking.
So sorry about that wait. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you. Oh, it's like a roller coaster ride getting out. Dark roast first. Not my preferred way to do it. I only ordered 2 things and it took 10 minutes to get it. Smells deep and rich. I say that a lot, huh? I think they're making things that always appeal to the nose. Drinkable temperature. Wow, what a strange flavor combination. There's an earthiness, maybe a sweetness, but it's not pronounced. It's not sugary or fruity. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. It's pretty hot. It doesn't taste overly burnt or overly roasted or overly dark. So, not a fan. I can't quite give names of the notes. It's not clear. Smells sort of like coffee, tastes less like coffee. Everything's muted, squished together. It's a diffuse, faded, blurry earthiness. Nothing I would call cocoa. Nothing I would call fruity. Nothing I would really call roasted coffee flavor. Okay, so that's a dark roast. Let's see if this blonde is cool enough to taste and sense. Yeah, it's cool enough quite a bit. Oh wow, that is so bland. It's not much of a smell. It's vaguely coffee-like, but there's not much there. Wow, that's really, really light. And, I don't know. I don't get any flavors. Caramel, grain, like a store brand cereal that's not sweet. There's a graininess, you can tell, well, I don't know, it's corn or wheat or oats or something in there. And these flakes are balls, but nothing like coffee. Okay, Starbucks blonde roast. Okay, don't need to go back there for a while, 10 or 20 years. So as you can tell, I'm not a fan. And I disrupted the whole thing by not getting one of those milky, frothy drinks. And by ordering something that nobody ever orders. So, that's Starbucks. So there's no good way to park here to show the restaurant off, or a sign or much of anything, so I'll just be utilitarian. Okay, now that this coffee's cooled down some, give it a little nose and taste and see what's in here. Wow, it smells deep and rich, dark. It's got all the good notes I like, and I can't smell anything burnt or off-putting. I don't know if I get the dark roast here much. I usually get hazelnut, maybe the light. But I don't remember. I've never had a bad coffee experience at Panera. Yeah, my Panera coffee days go way back. Back when it was St. Louis Bread Company in St. Louis. My wife and I would enjoy a sandwich or bread or breakfast there and sit around and drink coffee. And I remember hazelnut and just some kind of medium roaster. Something I could drink a couple of cups of, and we'd sit there for a while and go back and get more. I don't know if I ever had the dark roast. Well, maybe I was afraid of dark roast back then because too many places had bad ones. This is smelling good and deep, and it's tasting just perfect to match the nose. Nothing off-putting in the flavor. Deep, rich earthiness, cocoa. No fruitiness. No sweetness. No acidity. And dark roast usually drives some of those things away. So this is going well. I think I could drink the whole thing cold too. Nothing would go wrong with it. As it cooled down and sat at room temperature. Let me give you my little pro tip here. Whenever you're getting coffee from these drive-through places or something in a disposable cup, look for the little seam and make sure that your sipping hole is not lined up with that seam. In fact, put it 180 degrees away, and you'll have far fewer troubles as you tip and tip and tip to drink your coffee through the little tiny hole. This seam sometimes is a drip point matching up with the lid, so just put it away from where you tip, and it works out a lot better. But anyway, this hazelnut is fairly aromatic. It didn't fill up the whole car with the smell, but I didn't have to put my nose in it to know it was hazelnut. Getting some kind of vanilla, there's even sweetness on the nose. So I can tell it's hazelnut and hazelnutty. I get a vanilla note too. And it's just on the edge of saying, oh, I'm full of brown sugar too. Or something sweet and... Wow, well, I can't find coffee notes though. I don't know if they would use a medium roast or a light roast. Something that'd be a good neutral base for the hazelnut, I'm sure. Okay, that's all I can get from the nose. Oh, wow. Great subtlety, great restraint. which means it's a good full direct punch of hazelnut flavor without overdoing it like all the other brands. Everything I buy in a store. And I don't really do it out much. But hazelnut's always been one of my favorites here at Panera. So it still is. This is good. This is the most subtle hazelnut flavoring I know. And they do it right. It doesn't fill up the whole room. It doesn't waft over to the table beside you and bother them. The hazelnut experience is all right here, close to my head. It's a good flavor. It seems real. I think there's vanilla in there too. I'm sure it's a group of seasonings and flavors, and not just hazelnut. It's pretty aromatic. And the coffee seems sweeter than it should. Yeah, if there's really vanilla, maybe that's tricking me into thinking it's like ice cream. Usually when you have vanilla, you have sweet things too. So I'm not sure if it's really in here or if it's some psychological thing that a trick my mind's playing on me. So I don't taste coffee, but the hazelnut coffee is good. Subtle, restrained, mature, adult. Yeah, that's just good. So I like Panera. It's not really a drive-through place, but nowadays it is a pull-up and they'll bring it to you, which is almost drive-through. So that's probably gonna wrap up the drive-through coffees. So, and even when they're not the best, like my single origin things I have every day, it's really good to recalibrate yourself to what lots of other people are drinking. These are some of the better ones that you can just go somewhere and get, and they are pretty good. They're keeping me, I don't have to have the best stuff every day, because this tells you how much better the best stuff is sometimes. Sometimes it's a little better than these, sometimes it's a lot better than these. So this has been fun and interesting to go out and get these things. Let me remind you to like this video down below, leave a comment or a question for me, click subscribe and click the bell to get notified when the new videos come out, hopefully on Mondays. So that'll do it for this episode, and cheers.